even know what's going to happen on Sunday. This Sunday.
Everyone's going to spoil it for me anyway.
Nah, dude, they spoiled it for me on this week.
Oh, yeah?
What do you mean they spoiled it for you?
On football Twitter, it's stupid.
No, really. They're like, oh, because everyone's watching Game of Thrones. They're like, oh, dude, that scene with Arya.
Dude, no, you cannot do this. This is so crucial right now.
Well, then I got to shotgun 2 episodes and get caught up.
We'll do them right now.
literally
After
do
the
that
podcast.
tonight. Yeah.
All right, then we'll do that.
Actually, no, we gotta watch.
Actually, no,
we
we're
gotta
gonna
watch,
we have to watch. We have to get Rui caught up with Infinity War.
Yeah, Rui hasn't seen Infinity War.
And
Yeah,
he wants to
part
see of course, he wants to see the new Marvel movie that came out. So he needs to see that movie, or else Endgame will make no sense to him.
I gotta get on that. Every single like superhero movie, Marvel movie I've watched, I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked all of them. I still don't know what the hell's going on half the time, but I think they're cool.
Just wait until you see Infinity War, and then you'll be like, wow, I really need to finish this movie.
I was like, I saw the Civil War movie, and Dylan's like, dude, that shit came out like 7 years ago. Like I saw that like a month ago.
Wait, who's Thanos? I don't know.
No, I know.
Yeah, I know. I know. You know. Who
I don't know
Thanos
what
is.
happened to him.
Yeah.
You guys are telling me like, oh, you have to watch this movie first.
Right.
Then we'll watch the new one.
That's what we'll do. I'll get caught up on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Rui will catch up on the Marvel movies, and the universe will be in balance. Okay. Anyway, what are we doing here?
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Red Card Report podcast. If you couldn't tell, we officially have Joe back on mic.
Yeah, hi, everybody.
He is officially back with us again.
Welcome back, Joe.
Yeah, thanks.
Miss you, buddy.
Quite a few weeks now.
Yeah, definitely a few weeks. Sorry about that.
You went to, where was you? You were on a bachelor party in Austin.
Correct.
And you went to New York, right? You took the lady friend to New York?
Yep. Went to New York, and it was awesome.
It's always a nice thing to do.
There are some characters in New York, let me tell you that. I'll tell you that much. When the weather is nice outside, everyone comes out, and you see some pretty interesting people. If you want to people watch, New York City is it. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Oh, I can only imagine. I've only been to New York a couple times. I try to avoid that place like the plague. I'm not a city person, so I don't even like going into Boston, let alone the fucking nightmare over in New York.
Nah,
but
yeah.
Boston's
time.
traffic competes with New York's. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking terrible. I experienced it today at work. It's horrible.
Yeah, it was really crowded.
I just don't like people.
I know.
So I don't like.
I'm convinced you
I don't even like
us.
I don't even like going into the city here sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Whatever.
Providence is small.
I deal with it.
If you can't deal with Providence, you certainly cannot deal with Boston and New York.
Yeah.
New York's a different animal compared to Boston, but yeah.
All right.
What do you got for us?
Yeah, let's move on. So we've been away for a couple weeks now. Well, Joe's been away for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, you guys have been here.
The show itself, we didn't do anything last week just because we were caught up with a bunch of stuff. But what happened last week was the Champions League. So we're a little late to the topic, but we're going to cover it today.
Mm-hmm.
And take a look at all the games. And we're also going to do a couple of predictions for the next round.
Yeah.
We'll start with Porto and Liverpool first. So in the second leg, Porto was a home team. Liverpool ended up walking away with a 4-1 victory and advancing on aggregate 6-1. So before we get to the other games, we'll start with that one. And guys, what do you think?
You go first, really.
Yeah, this one hurt because I actually did watch this game. Porto played fantastic until that first Liverpool goal. You know, the statistics showed that Porto already had 13 shots going into halftime, and Liverpool only had 1, and it was the only goal of that half.
Put away, right?
You know, Marega could have scored 4 or 5 goals just in the first half alone. He had so many opportunities. He had a couple of opportunities in the first leg to at least pull one back.
That's what, yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's Liverpool. They have so much class. Mane, Salah, Firmino, they all put a goal in the back of the net. You know, that attacking trio is just absolutely insane. You know, it's if one is not on on their game, the other one or the other two, they're there to back them up. And when all three of them are absolutely clicking, it's just impossible to stop that. It's, in a team like Porto, which they showed, really promising result. Like they showed a promising performance. They played well. They fought hard. They made a few mistakes that led to Liverpool's goals, and Liverpool took advantage of, the mismatches. And, hats off to Liverpool, but hats off to Porto too. As a Portista, I'm really happy for them. They fought well. I wish they could have had a better result. But at the end of the day, Liverpool is just incredible.
Like the scoreline,
incredible team.
The scoreline almost doesn't do them justice, or doesn't tell the most accurate story, because they played well overall in those two games. You know what I mean? You look at the final aggregate being 6-1, and you're like, oh, Liverpool must have shit on them. But it really wasn't like that. Porto had their chances. They competed the whole way. They just weren't fortunate enough to walk away with a better result.
Yeah. It was definitely an open game, and that's the way Porto played it. Like they could have easily have just played defensive, because that's honestly what I thought they were going to do, because they have a good defense,
right?
So credit to them for taking the game to Liverpool. Like you said, Rui, they just got unlucky with the chances that they had. Marega didn't put away any of his chances. So that's just the way sometimes the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, the result really doesn't explain. Like as you guys said, the result really doesn't explain the entire story. Porto played really well. They just didn't capitalize. It could have been more competitive. I'm not saying they would have went through, or they were the better team at the end. I'm not going to say that, but I think it could have been much more competitive than the actual result.
Next game on our list was Barcelona and Manchester United. Barcelona ended up walking away with a 3-0 victory in the second leg, and walking away and moving on with a final aggregate of 4-0.
Are we really surprised? It's Barcelona. That's what we're talking about. Barcelona and a weak Manchester United side.
I was expecting better from Manchester United, though.
I was too. I think that all of us were.
They only lost 1-0 in the first leg, but they got severely outplayed in that first leg.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it took the words out of my mouth.
And I was expecting Manchester United to put up more of a fight. I actually picked them in this series. I figured with getting Pogba back and a lot of their injured players back in the lineup, they'd be able to put up a good fight and maybe even walk away with the upset over Barcelona. But they just did not show up to play whatsoever.
And here's the thing. I don't even think Barcelona went into high gear with this game either. I think that they were pretty much cruising in second gear. They didn't go
in both legs.
Right. It didn't seem like it was that much work for them. Sure, the scoreline for the first tie was only 1-0, but that, like you said, Dylan, they got really outplayed. And then the second leg, just like boom, Messi with 2 goals, Coutinho with a goal. Granted, one of Messi's goals was from David De Gea howler, which he should have had.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And can you elaborate a little bit more on that, Rui? Just for all the goalkeepers out there.
Everyone, when it comes to goalkeeping, they're always held under like a microscope. They're always going to be remembered for the gaffes that they let up, but never really for like the incredible saves that they make. And we've seen this with David De Gea the last few years, especially last season. I said this on one of the earlier podcasts. Without David De Gea last season, Manchester United wasn't going to finish second place and maybe fourth. I don't even know if they would have been in the Champions League this year, without him or without the performance that he had last year. This guy's been just under so much pressure. His defense has been abysmal this year. He's constantly, the opposition is constantly breathing down his neck every single game.
Yeah.
And at a point, it becomes really, really frustrating for a goalkeeper when you're literally trying to keep your team, when you're relying on him to keep your team in the game.
Yeah, I was going to say Messi had acres of space from what I saw in the game. The defense just let
His first goal was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. But you saw the space he had. He
Yep.
could have taken even more time with his shot, and he still would have made it.
Yeah,
You know?
mean, Barcelona is a great team. This is no surprise to me. Manchester United, as of lately, they've been pretty depressing to watch. It's not even the talent.
They went off to that hot start.
Yeah.
They were on
now
fire
they're-
as soon as they changed managers to Ole Solskjaer, and as of the last 7 weeks, 8 weeks, would you say?
They lost, what,
They've
5
been-
or 6?
Since they beat PSG, they lost to Arsenal 2-0.
Mhm.
Okay, Arsenal's is a good squad. You're competing with them for the top 4. But then you lose to Wolves twice, one in the FA Cup and one in the league. And then you beat Watford 2-1. They played a little bit better in that game, but it's Watford. But you
Yeah.
lose to Wolves twice in a row in a matter of 3 matches. It's unacceptable. Then you don't
lose
play
both
well
these
against
games.
Barcelona
Yep.
in the first leg. The same thing, and in the second leg, it was even worse. It looked like they just gave up. There was just there's no desire. There's no like hard work. There's no faith.
That's what I was going to ask, and maybe Evan could even answer this question if you were here. But I'll ask both of you this: is the motivation still there
I don't think so.
under Solskjaer? Because we saw what the team's capable of doing when they're motivated, but now I feel like that flame is gone.
I think this is just a mentality issue. I think this is under Man United. I think it's a mentality issue at this point. When Ole Solskjaer is now saying that these players need a reality check, that's a signal of a lack of mentality.
No, I completely agree. And I was just about to say that this only confirms my theories from earlier this season.
Mm-hmm.
Mourinho has his flaws, and he was to blame for a good chunk of what happened at the beginning of this year. But I always felt that Mourinho didn't deserve the majority of the blame. I still felt that with his faults, that the players still deserved a large chunk of the blame for their performance. And in particular, Pogba, but overall the whole team. And this kind of confirms everything because they essentially got what they wanted. They switched managers. Now they're under Ole Solskjaer.
Mm-hmm.
They had that great 6 weeks at the very beginning after changing managers, and now they've gone back to playing the exact same way that they were under Mourinho.
Yeah, and you just see, and I think you're really right, and you're onto something. Where, me personally, when you're the manager of the club, you're responsible for everything that's going on. You're the leader. You're the main guy. So you overwatch everything. So it's under your responsibility. It's under your watch. So you have to take the majority of the responsibility. But now that we're seeing the same exact things going on again, and it's not just Pogba, it's the rest of the locker room. And that was a main issue even under Mourinho. It was just a lack of mental toughness. Of course, this team is young, and they do have quality. They do have potential, but they're toiling around the same mountain. And you know what? Ole Solskjaer, for him to really call the team out, I think Dylan's 100% right. I don't think the majority of the blame should go towards Mourinho. I don't think it should, because it came to a certain
so
point.
You think the majority of the blame should go to Mourinho?
No,
or should
no, it should not.
Originally,
okay.
I did, because
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I believe that the manager is
coach.
overwatching everything,
Yeah.
so it's under his watch. But now, at this point, Ole Solskjaer is starting to lose faith in his players, just as Mourinho did earlier in the season. And now, like as you mentioned, Mourinho has his flaws. There were certain instances, a lot of instances throughout the beginning of the season, where he's just like, what the hell? Like, what the hell is he doing at times?
Yeah.
Like, you're just throwing wood on the fire.
Yep.
And you're not making
he's
it
very
better.
good at that. Yeah.
Like, I always said this. I understand exactly where Mourinho was coming from, but he's just not going about it the right way.
Yeah.
So, then they sacked him. Ole Solskjaer comes in, everything turns around, everyone is happy. Now they suffer a couple of losses, and they realize that they just don't have that chemistry there. They're being inconsistent. Now the entire locker room is just, they're not giving everything. they're defeated mentally.
So they need to just pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
And for the Manchester United fans, I'm sure they don't mind losing games. They wouldn't mind losing to Barcelona because Barcelona is a top club. Yeah. Manchester United's still in that rebuilding stage, but at least just show something different.
Yeah.
Show heart.
Yeah. Go in there and get some work done.
Show what it means to wear that honorable Manchester United jersey.
All right, so moving on to the next matchup on our list. Joe, your team.
Yep.
Juventus and Ajax.
Yep.
Ajax wins the second leg 2-1 over Juventus, and they win on aggregate 3-2.
And home.
Yep. So Juve is done. Cristiano Ronaldo, for the first time in quite a while, is knocked out of the Champions League, and Ajax moves on to the semifinals.
Yep. What is there real? The whole world knows this. I'll keep this short. I'm not going to go on like a long rant. But what I will say is, credit to Ajax. They deserve 110% of all the praise that they're getting. They played fantastic. And let's just be honest, Juventus didn't. Listen clearly to what I'm about to say. Juventus hung in there, okay, for the first half, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking strictly about the second leg. They took the initiative in both of those games, actually. They were the first team to score. Mm-hmm. Cristiano Ronaldo did his job. He is not to blame for anything. He is the whole reason why they got there anyway. What else? I think Allegri is out of ideas. I think the board didn't give Cristiano Ronaldo the right supporting cast to try and really push the Champions League agenda. Our midfield was trash. And we got totally outplayed there. You could see it.
I'm not even convinced that the board didn't give Ronaldo a solid or a strong supporting cast, because Juve has all the talent in the world. They've had talent for years now. I mean, they've won. It's going to be their 8th straight Scudetto.
Yep.
It's already in the bag.
Right. Yeah. And so. I guess my point is, I don't think it's the team. I think it's Allegri.
And I am inclined to agree. I think that Allegri is a great coach. He is a great coach. He will win you trophies. But there's just something about this team this year that I don't think he was ever able to really figure out. We don't have an identity. Like, Barcelona has tiki-taka. They play that way. Ajax has a similar sort of style. They play total football, and it's constantly moving. And usually the Italian teams have that, rock-solid defense, and, they go on the counterattack. Juve has been leaking goals and not been playing well for a long, long time. I can count on my hand the number of times that they've played well this season.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is not one of them.
And it just shows the quality that Juventus has, but they just never fully extracted it.
Yeah.
Because all season long in the league, even in some Champions League games, they just they were just grinding through these games.
Right.
Just like what champions do. That's what champions do. But when you're in the Champions League and you're pushing forward, that's going to catch up to you. You have to bring your A game. Look at what happened in the first game against Atletico. What did they do? They went on Allegri just went on a complete 180 with his tactics, his strategy, the mentality going into the game. He flipped from defensive to attack. And look what happened.
Yeah, I just that's what I wanted to see going into this game, and it didn't happen. It's inexplicable.
Chiellini's a huge loss. When you don't have that guy on the field, it's
would he have made the difference? I don't know if he even would have made the difference against this team, because you saw the way that Ajax played. They were passing the ball around, and Juventus was chasing this game the entire time.
Yeah, they were. One guy, Chiellini was there in the first leg against Atletico, so you saw the flaws that the team was making while he was on the pitch. What Would he have made a difference? Maybe not. But I can guarantee you that goal against the goal De Ligt scored on the corner
might not happen.
may have not have happened if Chiellini was there.
And I mean, we did have a lot of injuries,
and he bullied Rugani.
Yeah, he
You know?
did. He really did. Like I said, Juventus deserves every single amount of criticism that they have been getting, and I'm definitely one of the critics, because they went all in. They went all in on Cristiano Ronaldo to try and bring in the Champions League, and that didn't happen this year. So all I can say is we'll try again next year.
Another midfielder or two, and another center back, a real center back.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm talking about Bonucci.
We gotta get rid of that guy.
I think you guys would be contenders for favorites for next year.
Yeah.
A couple more center midfielders and another center back, and I think you guys would be pretty damn good.
Yeah. So on that note, though, we'll move right on to the last game, and after this, then we'll do some predictions for the semifinal matches. But the next matchup, of course, is Man City versus Tottenham. Man City was the home team in this one. They actually won the game 4-3.
Right.
However, they lost the total aggregate. Well, excuse me, they tied the final aggregate 4-4, but they lost, and Tottenham moved on because of the away goals. Right. Correct. And I don't want to say some controversy at the end of the game, but
there was controversy.
They came very, very close to walking away with the victory in this. What
a shitty way to go out.
Yeah, because there was the VAR called the goal back at the very, very end of the game. Yep. It was like
Aguero was offsides, crossed into Sterling. It was a great play. It was a great play, but he was just inches offsides, and it was the right call.
I mean, that's what VAR's for, right?
Yeah. Man, what a shitty way to go out.
Can I just say this? I think Son is one of my new favorite players.
That guy's been the best. Don't want to say he's the best player on Tottenham, but he has been, I don't know, the most crucial guy, the go-to guy. Look at the times when Harry Kane was injured a few weeks back, and then he was injured in January. Also, Dele Alli was injured in January. Son was the guy. Eriksen and Son were the two main guys, and Son was really putting away all these crucial goals. And in this game, he was absolutely incredible.
Fuego.
Absolutely stellar. This guy, it's just incredible. Yeah, it's just incredible how much he has grown, how much his game has evolved in the last couple of years that he's been at Tottenham. You know, this team is going to be really good. They haven't invested in any players in the offseason. Mm-hmm. You know, they're being very fiscally responsible. Uh-huh. You know, waiting to move into their new stadium until the time is right. You know, it's been incredible what they've been able to do. And if they were able to spend money maybe on another central midfielder, this team would be absolute favorites because everything just works. Everything works with this team. When they're all fully healthy, when a couple of players are out, when Harry Kane is out, they find a way.
Yeah.
They still find a way. Pochettino has done a great job. Even though domestically this has not been the best season for them, but they're really, really taking it to the other side, to all the haters, to all the doubters, that Tottenham is capable of competing with the absolute best in Europe.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was rooting for Tottenham. I'm not a big Man City fan. I was very frustrated at the end of the game. I texted you guys in the group chat when Sterling scored that goal before it had gotten taken back, and I was just like, "What the fuck? Like, I fucking hate this game. I can't believe I just wasted my entire the last 2 hours of my day watching this shit." And then I look up from texting you guys, and I see the big blue VAR sign, VAR no goal, and all that, and it made my day a lot better.
Yeah, you were like, LOL, JK.
yeah, exactly.
Tottenham wins. Then you were all happy. But yeah,
It was an insane game to be.
It was an incredible game. It was,
what's defending?
I feel,
What is defending with these two teams? Nothing. No, they don't defend.
not in that game. Maybe in the first game for sure, but in the second leg, I mean, what a great game. I really do feel for City because I think they were the better team.
Oh, hands down.
I think they were the better team.
Hands down. I think Tottenham played well, maybe a little bit better than them in the first half, or at least the beginning of the first half. In the second half, Man City absolutely manhandled them.
Yeah.
Though.
I think Tottenham played the game that they had to play.
Yeah.
Against City.
Yeah.
I think they had to just play, grind it out, and just capitalize.
Yep, that's what I wanted to say.
And that's what most teams have to do when they go up against a team like City that likes to control the game with possession. And it's very difficult because your time of possession is just so minimal that every possession counts when you do have the ball.
Yeah.
And we're looking at I'm looking at the statistics
counter.
right now, 66% to 34%.
Yeah.
It's big gap.
So 34% of the game you have possession. That's as much as you can do to score.
Yeah.
And
they scored 3 goals.
And they scored
with that.
3 goals. But also what's a liability is when you're Manchester City, you're more vulnerable to make mistakes because you have possession of the ball.
Yeah.
So it could go both ways, but
Tottenham has the players that can play the counter. So
yeah, they do. They do.
They took advantage of that. And I mean, the last goal that they scored from Llorente was a set piece from a corner. So
right.
I mean, they they took advantage. They just took advantage. And I mean that the first goal that they scored in the first leg was crucial.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Credit to Tottenham. Good job.
Yeah, when you can protect home field in the first leg, that's crucial, and it benefited Tottenham.
Benefited huge.
All right, fellas. Well, that's all of the quarterfinal matchups out of the way. So the teams moving on, and the matches, the matchups for the semifinal are going to be Tottenham versus Ajax and Barcelona versus Liverpool. What are you guys' thoughts on these two matchups? And give me your predictions.
Joe, what do you think, man?
Me
Ajax,
first. All right.
Ajax and Tottenham.
Ajax, Tottenham. This is a hard one. Now, there are no easy games in this part of this stage of the game.
I can see any of these 4 going to the final,
right?
And any of these 4 winning it all.
That's the hard part. But going back to just the Ajax Tottenham game, I will say I think Ajax can do it. If they can play like they did against Juventus and keep that going, they can win the whole thing. They really can. They have the players. And the one thing that they really need to do is stop being so naive. And I say that because sometimes they make an extra dribble when they should shoot, or they make an extra dribble when they should pass. And if they just make the right decisions at the right time, which easier said than done, they could beat anyone.
Yeah, there was a couple instances against Juventus where they should have shot the ball and they didn't. They just made the extra pass. They were being unselfish.
What are you doing? Just take the shot.
Yeah.
Right?
And I mean, this is a tough one.
Tottenham could win too. That's the hard part.
This is a tough one. I'm going to go with Ajax. I think Ajax is going to win both games 2-1, and they're going to go through 4-2 on aggregate. They're just flying, and I really do believe that Tottenham's run without Harry Kane is really just going to catch up because they need that clinical finisher. They need that extra guy, and Son is going to be out in the first game, the first leg of the semifinal due to suspension.
Right. Yellow card accumulation?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's, that's a huge loss, the most important player.
Yeah.
And, when you lose, or when you don't have Harry Kane and you don't have Son, you have to rely on Dele Alli and Llorente.
And Ericsson.
Or even Lucas Moura.
Yeah, or him. Any one of those guys to just come up with something, right?
But for me, I think Tottenham. Ajax has the team. They have the momentum. They're playing quality football. They're playing far beyond their FIFA rating. They are incredible.
Yeah.
I love the combination with Daley Blind and Frankie de Jong out in the back.
Yeah.
As, how Frankie de Jong plays as a deep lying midfielder.
They all
how
play
they can
these
rotate.
combos.
They can rotate.
They
make this combination, a triangle just from the back of passes. They switch positions. Daley Blind can go forward, and Frankie de Jong can drop back covering him, or they can even fall back to 3 center backs with Blind, Frankie de Jong, and De Ligt. It's so crazy what they can do.
It's very
this
malleable.
Is why they're so versatile, and this is why they can push the ball at any moment of the game. They can build up, control tempo whenever they want to. It's like they're always in the driver's seat because they're just so versatile. They have so many different options to push forward and control the game.
And they do that. They have these like you said, they have these amazing combo plays that they just run from the back. Like you said, Danny Blind and Frankie de Jong, and then it just goes all the way up into attack, and then that attack just explodes. Honestly, they have so many goals in them. They just need to make the right decisions.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what's your prediction, Joe?
I think you said. Did you say?
No,
Ajax?
I didn't. I didn't give a number.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say, I think Ajax will win 2-1 first leg. Wait, do we know which one? It doesn't matter. They'll win 2-1 over both legs. I agree with you, Rui. I think it'll be 4-2. Honestly.
Yeah, I think they're gonna pour in goals.
They'll just pour in goals. I feel like Tottenham will be a little bit vulnerable at the back, and they'll definitely succumb to total football that Ajax has.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on this one. I know a lot of times I always pick either the underdog or I'll pick the opposite of you guys.
Yeah, you just like to be contrarian, I know.
Not intentionally. A lot of times I really...
right, too, with your picks.
Nah, not all the time. Sometimes.
I'm shit with mine.
Maybe most.
He's being modest. Now he's going to shit all over us if Tottenham
No, I don't
win.
purposely pick something different than you guys. The vast majority of my picks are serious. There's only sometimes when I'll purposely pick like against your teams just to piss you off.
Yeah, I know.
But in this one, I do, specifically Juve. In this one, I do agree with you guys. I think Ajax is going to walk away. With it. I think Tottenham's time is finally going to come up. This is the farthest they've gone in the Champions League
ever.
Just like Man City, they always have a habit of screwing up and mailing it in early. So they've gotten too far. I think this is where they draw the line that Ajax has just been playing so well. They beat Real Madrid. They beat Juve. They're going to carry this on. They're going to go into the final. Cool. But I'm not going to give you a score because I'm fucking dyslexic and I hadn't thought about it yet, and with the away goals rule and all that stuff, trying to come up with a number gets me all fucking confused.
Sorry, Dylan. We made you read those numbers.
Yeah, no, it starts screwing with me after a while. Anyway, next matchup, Liverpool-Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
There, I said it. Barcelona.
I think Barcelona's going to go through too.
Because they have a certain player named Lionel Messi who's he's kind of good. So if he's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. Here's like the difference between Liverpool and Barcelona. So Liverpool, kind of like Juventus, they just grind out wins when they just don't. When everything's not going their way, when they're playing sloppy, they find ways to win somehow.
At least that's been the story this season.
Here's the difference here. When things aren't going the right way for Barcelona, there's one specific guy that makes a difference. He just makes the absolute difference, and his name is Lionel Messi. We saw it with Villarreal when they were down 2 goals? Yeah, 2 goals.
2 goals.
It was 4-2 in the second half. Comes in, and the game just completely changes, and Barcelona out of nowhere just scores 2 quick goals. I think it was within the last 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool scored a crazy goal against, I think it was Leicester City, or maybe it was Everton. It was that crazy one with Jordan Pickford. I was with Jordan Pickford.
Yeah.
Where it hit the bar and he like gaffed and everything, and they walked away with 3 points.
I think it was
that game.
Everton, yeah.
Yeah. So they walked away with points like that. Barcelona, on the other hand, they have Lionel Messi, who's just an absolute magician, and anything can really happen. And it's going to come down to him, his heroics, or it's going to come down to the battling of the goalkeepers. Alisson, Ter Stegen, arguably top 3 goalkeepers in the world right now. They're in absolute top form. It's gonna be a gauntlet match between the both of them. I think that either one of them, if Liverpool's come on top, it's going to be Alisson that's going to make the difference. He's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So, but me, I'm going to go with Barcelona. I think it's going to be 3-2 Barcelona.
Yeah, I would say that 3-2, and then it would be 0-0 for the next one, right? Are you talking about like in general 3-2?
3-2 in aggregate.
Okay, I can agree with that. I think that it's actually going to be 3-1. I think that that's going to be the scoreline, 3-1 Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be that severe. Not saying I don't think that Liverpool can hold up to, Barcelona's style. I just think that they have too many weapons, and I don't know if Liverpool can handle that.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool definitely has the talent. Their attack hasn't been as consistent this season as it was last year. And I mean, the attacking is still very good, but Mo Salah, the crucial player, the guy that they all depended on last season, is not having the same season as it was last year. A little bit inconsistent, still great. And it's hard to criticize him because unless if you're Ronaldo or Messi, you're the only players that can have those seasons consistently, year in and year out. Where Salah, you can see that he's phenomenal this year, despite him being a little bit inconsistent and a little drop in numbers. But I don't think it's enough to go through against Barcelona.
Yeah, not this time.
I don't think this time.
I disagree.
I think
Here we go.
You're doing
Here
this
we
on
No,
purpose.
I'm dead serious. I might have even said this in the group chat. I said the final was going to be Ajax and Liverpool. I have Liverpool winning this one. I think I like the way Liverpool has played this season. I think they're going to be a good test for Barcelona, and I think Barcelona, they played Lyon, and then they had a tough group, but they played Lyon and Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Manchester United isn't necessarily a cakewalk, or neither one of those teams are kind of a cakewalk, but for the last 2 rounds now, they've had easier matchups than some of the other matchups in these knockout rounds. And I think that might come back to bite them in the ass. I think
that's fair.
I think a lot of these other teams have been playing tough matchups, and they'll be at the top of their game. And almost as if like Barcelona's gone on like too many days rests.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right. They haven't had a good. They haven't had a good
test.
Yeah.
In a little bit. And I think that might come back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument. And also, I think Barcelona, just this team, obviously Liverpool has that historic Champions League DNA, but this team still has it from Barcelona.
Yeah.
And obviously Liverpool's made improvements in goalkeeping, no doubt. Defense, it's still the same defense, but they've just gotten better. They've been more consistent. And then the midfielding, the midfield position, they added more depth, a lot better, and even better players. Keita, when he's hot, he's great. Fabinho has been great this season for them. And also, they added Shaqiri for an extra player on the attack. Liverpool's a great team. They're better than last year, despite not being as effective as they were attacking, pouring in as many goals. I'm still sticking with Barcelona, but I won't be surprised if Liverpool really steals it, or even manhandles Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, your opinion didn't change my mind, Dylan. Don't say that. But you definitely raised a good point in saying that Barcelona haven't had a good test yet this year. And Liverpool is probably going to be that test. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
All right, boys. Well, we're running out of time. Any final words before we wrap things up?
I just want to give a shout out to both Evan and Eddie, who were, taking over while I was gone. I just want to
Both did a phenomenal job.
They really did. They did an excellent job, and I hope that we can all do an episode with them at some point soon.
Absolutely. Drew?
I forgot to mention this earlier. Ajax has the opportunity of winning the treble. So
that's right.
I hope they can do it. I'm
That
gonna
would be
pull
cool.
for Ajax.
Pretty cool.
I'm gonna pull for Ajax.
I think we're all pulling for Ajax.
Before they did,
they're the underdog team.
Yeah.
My heart says Ajax, but my mind says Barcelona. That's the team that I think they will win. If I were to put money on, it's Barcelona, but Ajax has my heart. I hope they do it, though.
I think that I want to see Ajax win the treble before this whole team gets dismantled and we never see them play all together again.
True on that.